Lee Summit is your destination for big city vibes and small town charm.
Head to the downtown Lee Summit Farmers Market, where local meets fresh. Then grab a cup of coffee and discover a variety of shops and boutiques just around the corner. Continue the fun in downtown Lee Summit at a retro arcade bar. Discover your new beer at one of our 6 locally owned breweries. Cool off with some handcrafted cocktails at happy hour. End the night with live music and good company. Lee Summit, Missouri.
Hello, Lee Summit. I'm Laura, and here's your flash briefing for the week of August 4th. City Council meet for regular session Tuesday night, 6 in Council Chambers in City Hall. Meetings are open to the public or watched live on the city's YouTube channel. If you can't watch, catch the recorded meeting on demand on the YouTube channel or by subscribing to the Council Debrief newsletter, which breaks down 3 to 4 key agenda items. Subscribe at cityofls.net. The city is seeking public input regarding contracted residential curbside solid waste services. The meetings will be held in an open house style format in each council district. Feel free to attend the one that works best for you. Public comments can also be submitted online through August 15th at 5 p.m. Learn more at cityofls.net. The countdown is on for the grand opening of Green Street, August 15th through the 17th. Everyone is invited to celebrate the ribbon cutting and opening of this bold, vibrant gathering space. Green Street will be home to the indoor farmers market, live music, local art, open air performances, and extraordinary events in a dynamic indoor-outdoor setting. Grand opening weekend will be packed with live entertainment, food trucks, kids activities, live music, the Saturday's farmers market, and more. Come be a part of it. Learn more at greenstreetls.com. And the city is seeking citizens interested in serving on the 2026 Charter Review Commission. The commission provides citizens an opportunity to directly participate in shaping the charter to meet the city's needs in areas such as public services, resource efficiency, and effective local democracy. Find more information and apply on the city's website. Thanks for listening and have a great week.
This is the best place to work.
I love working here.
I feel very blessed.
I love it here.
I look forward to coming to work every day, being a part of this team.
Like a family away from home.
Where everyone feels like everybody knows their name.
A city that supports you. We see that with our benefits.
A pension, vacation days, job security.
Being able to be heard.
We feel valued. We feel respected.
Lee Summit is a very progressive city.
It's growing, it's thriving.
We have this drive towards not just doing a job, but doing it with the spirit of excellence.
I had the opportunity to continue to grow, regardless of 30 plus years doing this kind of work.
It's more than just dollars and cents.
We're here really to give back,
Providing a service to better a community,
to go out and serve people.
to be a part of something bigger than yourself. If I would have known what I know now, years ago, I would have been here much sooner.
Hello and welcome to the final episode of Meet Me at the Market, your development update on Green Street. Green Street Market's final touches to the indoor farmers market are almost complete. Flooring, fans, and 10 garage doors have been installed, and a large LED screen and televisions have been placed throughout the facility. The restrooms at both ends have been completed, and the kitchen's catering equipment will be installed soon. Green Street Lawn's covered outdoor area now has synthetic turf, and electrical outlets have been set for the movable stage, lighting, and sound equipment. With the garage doors open to the market, visitors and vendors will be able to enjoy programs and performances while shopping for fresh produce. Large planters have been placed and will be filled soon. The Green Street neon sign has been installed above the lawn, creating the entryway to the dynamic space. Green Street Grove's wickets are installed over the 3rd Street gateway. Open seating and gathering spaces are in, and site furniture is being assembled. The immersive children's playground is installed and turf has been laid. Public art sculptures Raptor and Emergence will be installed this July, along with the City Hall parking garage and Green Street Market murals. The iconic sculpture Everything Changes with a Dream will be installed at the southern entry point in August. That's it for Meet Me at the Market. It's been an exciting journey, and we're thrilled to meet you at Green Street for the ribbon cutting and grand opening August 15th through the 17th. For more information on the project and grand opening festivities, visit greenstreetls.com.
Lee Summit has lots of local destinations, but where do you start? Green Street, a vibrant community space in the heart of downtown, is where Lee Summit comes together. Its 3 dynamic areas have something for everyone. Green Street Market is a modern event venue and home to the downtown Lee Summit Farmers Market. Green Street Lawn is a covered performance space hosting live music, family activities, and more. Green Street Grove is a mixture of gathering spaces, an immersive playground, and bold architectural features. And all 3 areas host community events year-round. So the next time you set out to enjoy the city you love, remember, meet at Green Street.
It's member level. Thank you, Mayor. Great presentation, Ryan. Thank you. Is there any indicator that shows, are we supporting a need?
You know, they talk about like gym rats, kids that grew up with their dads that were coaches. Like I was a city hall rat. My dad, Tom Lovell, was hired as the Parks Administrator in 1978 and spent 40 years in public service here in Lee Summit. I would go up on the weekends when he was working, and I'd run around and play and do things, and I didn't know what he was doing at the time, but I just knew that was part of our weekend routine some days, was to go up and hang out at City Hall. Being part of a city from a young age to now in my adult life, you reap so many benefits from that. The people you know, you care more for something that you've been a part of. My wife and I knew we wanted to raise a family. Just trying to find a community that we thought we could raise our children in, that was good to me, and it just felt like the right move as we were deciding on a city to come back to. Fortunate to have started a business in 2018. I founded Level Insurance Group, and we are a business insurance brokerage. So we help businesses procure insurance. Decided to throw our flag in the ground here in Lee Summit, and it's grown. I also have this passion for learning and curiosity, and I started a podcast series. So I really enjoy this opportunity where I sit down with business owners and tell their story, and get this out to other people in hopes that maybe it betters their life and gives them some inspiration or something. It's going to be a really exciting time, and obviously this city's in my blood. My dad's been a part of it for a long time, so I'm really excited. Thank you all. A lot of people would say I was crazy, right? So why do you throw your hand up and subject yourself to going into city politics? I think, especially as I've gotten older, I just felt You know, maybe a civic duty, like a responsibility to say, hey, this city's been great to me. Here's a way that I can give back and take some of my skills and put them to work for the people of this city. I wanted to bring a different, maybe way of thinking and take some of my business acumen and see areas that it may apply to how we develop and grow this community and just give a different perspective. One of our biggest challenges, but also one of our biggest opportunities is how do we develop and grow this community? We don't want to grow too fast, but we want to grow at a pace that helps support, who and what we are as a community. So, we've got a lot of opportunities, whether that be through development or parks. We've got a lot of land coming on board. So I just think it's important, it's a challenge, but it's also our greatest opportunity. And so we just got to be smart how we do that. It's just asking some different questions. I'm one that I'm not contrarian for contrarian's sake. What I am is someone will tell me something and then I want to get to that position with them by just asking thoughtful questions along the way. And then if I can get there, then I feel like we've answered everything we can to move that forward versus, hey, here's kind of how we've done it. I'm never this is how we do it, this is how we've always done it, and this is how we'll continue to do it. Office of Council Member for District 2. All of my practical experience has put me in this position to serve, and I just raised my hand and said I want to do that. For which I was elected on April 5th, 2022. I feel this obligation to carry this legacy that my dad did, my family did, and then giving my kids an environment to grow up in that makes them want to come back. My kids have started rec sports through the Parks and Recreation system, and I'm watching them play soccer on this sport field that my dad helped develop, and my dad's sitting there with me, right? I mean, that's the stuff that really matters in life.
Welcome, everyone. Would you please rise for the invocation and stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together today. Fill this room with good energy, kind hearts, and clear minds. Help us make choices that lift up our community and bring joy to others. Bless everyone here and all those we serve. Amen.
Okay, again, welcome everyone. I'm calling to order the City of Lee Summit regular session number 45. Could I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Hodges. Here. Councilmember Rader. Present. Councilmember Pryor. Here. Councilmember Shields. Here. Councilmember Funk. Councilmember Lovell. Councilmember Carlisle. Present. Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
Here.
Mayor Baird.
Here. Okay, we're having a couple of computer issues. Computers are updating, so we might have a couple of voice votes. Okay. So the first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. I have a motion to adopt the agenda by Councilmember Hodges, seconded by Councilmember Carlisle. Discussion. Seeing none, please cast your vote. Councilmember Shields.
Aye.
Councilmember Pryor.
Aye.
Thank you. All votes are in. Please record the vote. So there's only 7 of us tonight. We've got 2 people absent tonight, which is kind of rare. So you'll see 7 votes tonight. So that was unanimous, 7-0. Next is the approval of the consent agenda. We have a motion to adopt the consent agenda by Councilmember Carlisle, seconded by Councilmember Rader. Council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. Councilmember Shields.
Aye.
Councilmember Pryor.
Aye.
Thank you. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It is a 7-0 on the approval of the consent agenda as well. Thank you. That will take us to the roundtable. This is items of general interest, things going on maybe in your district or in the community. I don't know if you noticed, but we're doing this thing outside. If you want to talk about that, that's fine too. I went over and did an interview this morning that should air on the weekend. I think it was Channel 9, so that was nice. And you could just tell once they were interviewing me, the videographer just was like, he just had a really good eye, and he was just like, hold on, I got to go over here. Hold on, I got to go over here. He just kept going to different parts of the farmers market and plaza to take different shots. So it was really kind of nice to see it kind of happen in real time like that, to see someone experiencing it. So it's very exciting. Anybody else? Councilmember Shields?
And I'm just equally excited for all this. We walked by this afternoon and saw the new sculpture out there. I think it begins with a dream. Is that right? The big maple leaf.
Everything
begins with a dream.
Yeah.
That's what you get for calling on me without notes. But
sorry.
No, it's all right. It's really beautiful. It's really coming together, and can't wait for the kickoff. And I think Mayor's going to do the first ever State of the City there next week, right? So
yes, and I did get to go in there, take a peek when they were, and took a photo of the inside, because I haven't been in there that much, and it looks like a ballroom. The farmers market looks like a ballroom, and when you take a photo, it's that nice. So it's going to be pretty special. All right. Very good. Well, let's keep going then. We've got a bit of business tonight. We have quite a few public hearings for everybody. Some of them will not take as long as others, but we have a stacked agenda, so we're going to have to get right to it. I'm going to close the regular session at this point and open the public hearing in the matter of Agenda Item 4A. This is a public hearing regarding a special use permit renewal for auto sales, service, and repair. AutoDreams LLC is the applicant, 1231 Southeast Century Drive. Would all those wishing to speak to this matter please rise to be sworn in by the city clerk.
Tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Josh Williams, 1231 Southeast Century Drive. I'm the owner of AutoDreams. I'll defer to staff for the presentation. I'm just here to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. What was it? Josh what? Josh Williams.
Williams.
Thank you.
Good evening. Hector Soto Jr., Senior Planner. I'd like to enter to the record Exhibit A, list of exhibits 1 through 16.
Please enter into the record Exhibit A, 1 through 16.
So the application before you today is the culmination of a cooperative effort between staff and the applicant to accomplish two things. The first is renewal of a special use permit originally granted in 2015, I believe. It was 2015 for automotive sales to take place on the subject property. And the second thing that's looking to be accomplished with this application is to capture automotive repair services that the applicant began at this location about 5 years ago. So with this application, we're doing one, like I mentioned, renewal, and then two is with the special use permit and the conditions associated with it, create a path by which we are looking to bring the property into compliance for all aspects of the activity that's going on in the property. For those not familiar with the site, the property is outlined here in crimson, generally located here at the northeast corner of Bailey Road and Century Drive. The CP1 property to the south is a daycare. That's kind of a landmark that a lot of people notice at this location. There was a neighborhood meeting that was held. There was only one member of the public attended. There was no expression of any opposition or necessarily anything in favor that we received. It was just more of a opportunity to discuss with the applicant or the attendee what the process is and what the ask is and what the current conditions are, as well as the future plans for improvements on the property. So there are a couple items here that this application will button up that we're looking to address. One is, like was mentioned, the expansion of the operations about 5 years ago to extend beyond automotive sales into automotive repair. There is a condition in here that will also address the improvement of the parking surfaces so that vehicles will no longer be parked on gravel drive, but rather an improved surface. And a couple items, one item that's already been addressed is that's brought up here is there has been a permit that has been pulled for approval of an updated wall sign that identified the vehicle sales and the automotive repair services that are taking place on site. So this particular drawing is reflective of a final development plan that was approved about 2.5–3 months ago for future improvements to the site. Here in this kind of shaded granite color, you do see, so the line work denotes the existing boundaries of the gravel drive, but we do have, like I mentioned, an approved plan that shows the applicant constructing paved surfaces over the majority of that area, and that there will be a covered roofed canopy type of area just south of the building to house and provide some measure of protection from inclement weather for some of the vehicles that are being displayed there for sale or for repair. There are 5 conditions of approval, and like I mentioned, the goal of one of this is to kind of pave a path for the applicant to establish certain benchmarks that need to be done for improvements in order to bring all of this site into compliance. We are including in here a recommendation that the special use permit be granted for 5 years. But like I mentioned, 2, 3, and 4 do give those time limits under which certain improvements do need to be made. And number 5 is kind of a belt and suspenders approach in that the UDO already has verbiage in there explaining what the revocation process is, should there be continued noncompliance with special use permit, but this kind of gets in front of everyone and provides the applicant a little bit of notice and also some assurance to the Planning Commission, City Council that, you know, if conditions 1 through 4 are not met, ultimately number 5 is what can be exercised through the UDO. So with that, I will yield to any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you. Questions for the applicant or staff? Member Tim Lopez.
Just a quick question, Mr. Soto. I know we've dealt with special use permits. We deal with them often with our body, but Remind me again, for this type of operation, we've talked about 10 years, 20 years for different special use permit terms. Why is this one 5 compared to the others? I know some are more retail in nature, but why is this one 5?
So typically what's done for new construction projects, they've been at a minimum 20 years. For renewals, we've typically gone, the direction's been 10 years. This one we're going with, or recommending 5, just based on a couple of things. It's a little bit of a medium, intermediate kind of step, and we're not quite at 10. And then based on the fact that there has been a little bit of a history of violations on the property, we're not quite comfortable to go with the full 10. It gives us 5 years. Again, it's got the condition about the revocation process, but there's also the ability for the applicant within a 5-year period to again come before you and demonstrate that they've been a good citizen, we'll say.
Gotcha. Okay, I appreciate that. That answers my question. Thank you.
And I guess one other thing I'll add, you obviously have the authority to amend that and grant additional years if you choose to do so.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Okay. Councilmember Carlisle? Yep.
Just real quick to the applicant, I just want to make sure that you are okay with all of the 5 steps that they've given you for approval.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, is there anybody that wishes to speak in favor or in opposition to the application? Please come forward. Any additional questions from council? Mr. Williams, do you care to make any further comment?
The only thing I'll add is that, yes, there's been violations, but it was basically because we had to expand our business very quickly during a time of, roughness during COVID. So we had to add that parking in order for our business to survive. So really the only violations I'm guilty of are parking cars on gravel. I don't know if that's a crime or not, but that's what we had to do. I would like a longer period than 5 years. I am requesting that, but I'm okay either way.
Okay. I think that this area, I'll just kind of throw this out to council. This area is, we've been working on this area, be across the street for quite some time, and it's been kind of painful over there. Not like your side, not like yours property, but we've been trying to make this gateway something different for decades, and so we really want this area. We also have more stuff coming in just north of this property that we've been talking about that I don't know, we're excited about, I think, and we just need to we really need to ensure that this corridor looks good, just like we've been working on the 50 highway corridor, and now we're having this progress on the 291 south corridor. So I think that's kind of the big concern from council on this. So I think what I'll do is I'll close the public hearing. Yes. Yes, please.
Thank you. I think this question is probably for staff, just to make sure I'm clear on everything. So the violations, the parking on gravel is something that needs to be corrected, but there was also a violation in just that the use specifically requires a special use permit. Did I remember that right, or what?
Correct. Major automotive repair does require a special use permit. So it's a two-pronged special use permit. One covers the automotive sales, and the other one covers the automotive repair.
So when you say they were in violation, it was both the site having, unapproved materials and also the use not having gone through the approval process?
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
Okay. Just want to make sure I understood. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
You bet. Thank you. Okay, let's discuss this, but first let me close the public hearing and reopen the regular session. Now, council, any discussion on this application? Councilmember Shields.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm fine with approving this. I think normally I would push for a longer period, but given kind of the existing violations, I understand going for a shorter one. So, but I also do want to say I appreciate with both the applicant and with staff having a collaborative approach, and that our codes are always designed to bring people into compliance, not to punish. So I think that's appreciated, that we're all working towards a solution, and I'm happy to support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Other discussion or comments? Okay, thank you. Seeing none, Councilmember Rader, would you please read Bill number 25-137?
Yes, Mayor. I move to advance to second reading Bill number 25-137, Section 3, Sorry about that, guys. An ordinance granting a special use permit for automotive sales, service, and repair in district planned industrial on land located at 1231 Southeast Century Drive for a period of 5 years, all in accordance with Article 6 of the Unified Development Ordinance for the City of Lee Summit, Missouri.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading, Bill number 25-137. Council discussion? Yeah. Okay. Seeing none, please cast your vote. Councilmember Shields?
Aye.
Councilmember Pryor?
Aye.
Thank you. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It does get approved, 7-0. So we do appreciate you having your business in our city. This will go to second reading, probably the next meeting. So thank you. All right, I'm going to close the regular session again and open the public hearing in the matter of agenda item 4B. This is a preliminary development plan for TODCO Beverages, 1270 Southeast Century Drive. Engineering Solutions is the applicant. Would all those wishing to speak to this matter please rise to be sworn in by the city clerk?
Tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Thank you. Mr. Schlicht.
Good evening. Matt Slish, Engineering Solutions, 50 Southeast 30th Street, Lee Summit, Missouri. With me this evening is the architect and the owner, should you have any questions that I can't answer for you. Later on the agenda, you'll kind of see the continuation of this project's idea. So in the city where we used to have kind of the metal building areas, some of the codes changed in an attempt to do, just as the mayor was just saying, to start some improvement in that area. So we are just across the street to the west of the previous case, so the northwest corner of Century Drive and Bailey. TODCO Industries owns the business and building to the north of this site, so we are just to the west of KC Dumpster, sitting to the east of the ditch out in that area. This area is within the mixed-use area, zoned in the light industrial area of the city. And again, it was in that area where it used to be the full metal building, where a lot of the neighboring properties have four-sided metal buildings and panels. Staff came to us during the process and said they were going to start to work through an idea, an option that you guys will see later today, to start to enhance and add some materials to that while still allowing some of these industrial users to have some flexibility with some of the use of metal panel. So the proposal, and as I stated, to the north is the existing TODCO facility that they're expanding down to add 12,000 square foot, outdoor storage on the south side, docks, parking on the north side, and access on the east to get back through. Essentially just to continue to expand the facility that exists there today. So Bailey Road's on the south, the existing vegetation in the southwest corner will remain, in addition of landscaping on the north side of Bailey to create screening and buffering between the outdoor storage and the building and Bailey, as well as some on-site landscaping up on the interior side of the building. And as we talked about, as the neighboring properties are primarily all metal panels, all one color, this will start to have a mixture of 3 different colors of metal panel, a textured metal panel, a flat metal panel, and some mixture of some cultured stone out there. You can start to see, so this would be the north elevation as you're looking towards the existing TODCO. This would be the elevation facing south towards Bailey. These would be the east and the west elevations as you're kind of looking towards the existing KC dumpster facility to the east, or sorry, to the west, and then the ditch to the west. So again, existing properties around the area are primarily one-colored metal panel buildings. Outdoor storages are chain link fence and storage on the exterior. Some textured metal panel, but again, this building will start to be the continuation of what staff I think is looking for, and that continued development and growth of that metal building area. So we did hold a neighborhood meeting. No one showed up and had any comment. Planning Commission, we did receive unanimous approval with a little bit of discussion on the metal panels and how far it should extend and different pieces of it. But overall, I think the intent was met in working with staff to get to what you guys will see later today. So again, we're here with any questions you may have.
Okay. Thank you. Questions for, we got to have the staff's presentation, Mr. Soto.
Hector Soto Jr., Senior Planner. I'd like to enter into the record Exhibit A, list of items 1 through 15.
Please enter into the record Exhibit A 1 through 15.
As Mr. Schlisch had mentioned, he made reference to some changes to our architectural standards. But for the fact that this application currently as proposed exceeds the threshold that was established here in December of 2024 that elevated the use of metal in certain percentages and created a tiered system, whereas the use of metal on facades up to 40% could be approved administratively, no more than 75% can be approved by Planning Commission, and then over 75% required City Council approval. This particular application uses metal on all four sides, ranging from a percentage of about 55% all the way up to 100. The fact that at minimum one of those facades exceeds the 75% is the only reason why this application is before you here. But for that architectural standard, the site meets all setback requirements. It's an appropriate use given the existing PI zoning of the property. It is compatible with adjacent uses. It is a platted lot. In fact, it's one of the, perhaps this might be the second to last lot in that general area on Broadway and Century Drive between Oldham on the north and Bailey on the south that is left to be developed. So there'll only be about one more in this area. So the particular, like I mentioned, the facades range from from about 60% up to 100%. Again, up until November or December of 2024. Up to 100% of metal in this particular area could be used on 3 facades, and with just a minimum of about 50% on the front street-facing facades. So this particular building is consistent with the old standard, and it will be consistent with the new standard that you'll hear about a little bit later today. This application also helped form a little bit of a tweaking to the new standard, but if this application were to come forward under the new standard that you'll hear about later, it would be in compliance. With that, staff is recommending approval of the application, conditions 1 and 2, and 1 being that the modification be granted to the 40%. And just to be clear, the reason why there's a modification, even though there's an application tonight, is that the application was submitted under the standard as it's currently written, and that from a timing perspective, should the applicant have wanted to have waited until this process played out that you'll hear about later, they could have, but that would have delayed their submittal process. So they decided to submit their application immediately. And it just so happened that this application and the one that you'll hear about today, they just happen to coincide. So, but with that, staff recommends approval subject to conditions 1 and 2.
Okay, thank you, sir. Questions for applicant or staff? Mr. Schlicht, I'm sorry, I'm just so curious about a couple things on this. Can you go to your presentation? Yeah. Then go to your elevation. So that's facing north, which actually faces another business, right?
The same business, so TODCO owns the business to the north, but that is facing north, which is kind of the primary drive to the site. Or not kind of, it is the primary drive to the site off that.
And then on the far right there, that's some type of wall and then some type of canopy over it?
It'll be our dock high area over there. So that there's a drawing, it's kind of not showing it correctly, but there'll be a dock high that goes into a dock in that area so you can get to inside of the building to drop off.
Oh, okay. I got you. That's what I was so confused about. Okay, so that's a dock. You go in there and then you go in the garages this way.
Yep.
Okay, all right. I was like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah, so it's there. You'll see the overhead door sitting there.
That helps me. Okay. And then on this, this paneling, I think I'm okay with the metals, probably more than most, but I'm just curious with these colors, like that brick red, what it looks, I don't know, I haven't seen a lot of that.
So we can refer to the architect, but I believe it was trying to mimic some of the colors of the businesses where they got a lot of the colors and ideas on that side of it.
Yeah. Is it just like the panel's white and then a little red strip? Is that what it is?
He's nodding his head, yes. Yeah.
Okay. And, yeah, no, it's interesting. What about above I see the red that goes across above the doors and then the windows. And then is it just for architectural aesthetics that you've kind of blocked it all off? Because I like this, I don't like or dislike it. Sorry, I'm in a public hearing. I just want to learn, what's going on here specifically. So in this photo, you can see above the windows, it's red, and then it transitions to black. Can you explain that part to me?
Yeah. Baylor Reimler, 1512 South McCoy Street, Independence. The question was why it kind of transitions from that upper metal to the...
Is it a different material?
It's the same material, just a different
Different
color.
color.
Kind of add a more architectural touch to the facade.
So it's for aesthetics?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Correct.
And the same thing above the doors for aesthetics. And then it's you're working with the signage. That's why the different color changes.
Trying to tie into the owner's business colors as well as with this new business facade.
Okay. Then the backside, you even kept a little bit, you even kept some colors on the backside. Of course, does the backside face
Southeast Bailey?
So yeah, so that's good that you did some aesthetics on the backside as well. Okay. Right. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Is there anyone that wishes to speak in favor or in opposition to the application? Please come forward. Any additional questions from council? All right, seeing none, does the applicant care to make any further comment? Thank you. Hearing no further testimony, I close in the public hearing and reopening the regular session. Is there any council discussion on this application? All right. Seeing no further comments or questions, Councilmember Pryor, would you please read Bill number 25-138?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to advance to a second reading, Bill number 25-138, an ordinance approving a preliminary development plan on approximately 1.61 acres located at 1270 Southeast Century Drive, all in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 33, the Unified Development Ordinance of the Code of Ordinances for the City of Lee Summit, Missouri.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading, Bill number 25-138 by Councilmember Pryor, seconded by Councilmember Hodges. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. Councilmember Shields?
Aye.
Councilmember Pryor?
My computer's working now, but
sorry. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It does pass 7-0. And to the applicant, thank you for reinvesting in Lee Summit. Okay, moving right along. We're going to close the regular session, open the public hearing in the matter of agenda item 4C, a special use permit renewal for a retirement home, Solstice Senior Living, 1088 Northeast Independence Avenue, NorthStar Healthcare Income, Inc. is the applicant. Would all those wishing to speak to this matter please rise to be sworn in by the city clerk?
You swear to tell the truth,
truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
All right.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is David Waters. I'm with the Spencer Fain Law Firm. As just a personal point, I'll note I'm also the mayor of Westwood, Kansas, so I greatly appreciate and understand the work you all do, and thank you for that this evening. I do not have a presentation for you this evening. I will rely on staff for that. That really covers everything. But what we're searching here for today is a renewal of a special use permit for Solstice Senior Living. This is a facility that's been in existence for over 20 years. There are no changes to the buildings. There are no changes to the use. Everything else is staying the same, but this is just simply a renewal of that. We certainly appreciate staff's recommendation of approval. We also very much appreciate the Planning Commission's recommendation of approval as well. I'm joined by Tasha Arlen with Solstice Senior Living as well, and we're happy to answer any questions that you might have about the application as it comes up.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hector Soto Jr., Senior Planner. I'd like to enter the record Exhibit A, list of exhibits 1 through 17.
Please enter the record Exhibit A, 1 through 17.
So as Mr. Waters had mentioned, the application before you is for a renewal of a special use permit for a period of 20 years for the Solstice facility. Originally, I believe it was called the Carlisle. For those not familiar with it, it's immediately west of Walmart here at that southwest corner of Tudor Road and Independence Avenue. The existing facility has 123 dwelling units housed within 3 buildings, around 118 units in the larger Serpentine building. There's 5 units made up of a duplex on the south, well, in this general area here off the hard corner of Tudor and Independence. The south building is a duplex, the north building is a triplex. So again, altogether about 123 units. It's my understanding that there are a total about 140 so residents in that facility. Here's some photos of the general areas. You can see it's well maintained. There's no history of any complaints or issues in violating any maintenance ordinance requirements or any condition of approval of the special use permit renewal, or the original special use permit renewal rather. So given that information, staff is recommending approval for continuation of renewal of special use permit for a period of 20 years. So I'll yield to any questions.
Okay, thank you. Questions for applicant or staff? Yes, Councilmember Rader.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm curious about, and probably for the applicant, I'm just curious about, I liked that you told us about how many dwelling units are there. Are these currently owned by the residents, or do they're rented? Okay.
No, they are all rented. You'll have to give your name. Oh, sorry, I'm Tasha Arlen. My home address?
No, you're fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, the apartments are rented on a month-to-month lease.
And as well as the duplex units?
Same.
Can you tell me approximately what the rental rates are?
It depends. It's based off of size. So we have multiple different units. We have cottages that are 2 bedrooms with garages. Those are, off the top of my head, probably $3,500. A studio is probably $2,200, but that includes all services. That includes 3 meals a day, housekeeping, maintenance, all utilities, activities, and transportation.
Yeah, that was my next question, was if there was, what type of amenities were there. I drive by this little area all the time. It's very nicely kept.
Thank you.
And so thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay. Is there anybody here that wishes to speak in favor or against the application? Please come forward. Are there any additional questions from council? Councilmember Shields.
Thank you, Mayor. So the term of the special use permit is recommended for 20 years, and that goes from the expiration of the previous permit. I have that right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. And is there any reason not to extend it 20 years from today's date when we're granting it, since we know they're in compliance and everything's in good condition and everything?
Our practice, well, we can certainly add additional, I guess that'd be almost, a year and a half or 2 more years to make it kind of even. The practice that we've done is we've typically backdated it to kind of keep that continuous time period. But to your point, if you wanted to make it more like 20 years from this date, we could adjust the time period accordingly, and it would be, like you said, like 22 years and change or so to make it line up from 20 years from today.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Any additional questions from council? Okay, does the applicant care to make any further comment? No, sir. Thank you. Hearing no further testimony, I'm closing the public hearing and reopening the regular session. Is there any council discussion or comments? Councilmember Rader.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to add one more thing. I wish we had more of these types of living areas. So if you've got a contact somewhere, it sure would help our seniors. So, and I'm in favor of the SUP. So thank you. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Pryor.
Thanks, Mayor. So I always say, ask a firefighter if you want to know how an independent living or a care facility or a nursing home or a hospital truly is. So I asked my husband, who's a firefighter, and he said you guys do a pretty good job. So I feel good about extending this for another 20 years. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Shields.
Thank you. I would also be in support of this, and I'd be happy to do it as 20 years from today, so going through 2045 if the rest of the council was open to that.
Oh, I see. It was through 2042, is what you were talking about earlier.
Right, since it's backdated to the prior expiration.
You want to make once we read it, you want to amend it?
I'm happy to make a motion and see how everybody votes.
Okay. All right. Very good, thank you. Any other comments, questions? We're outside of the public hearing at this point. All right. Which one are we on?
25, 139.
Okay. Thank you. Councilmember Hodges, would you please read Bill number 25-139?
I advance to second reading Bill number 25-139, an ordinance granting a special use permit renewal for a retirement home in District CP2 on land located at 1088 Northeast Independence Avenue for a period of 20 years from the previous expiration date, all in accordance with Article 6 of the Unified Development Ordinance for the City of Lee's Summit, Missouri.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading Bill number 25-139 by Councilmember Hodges, seconded by Councilmember Shields. Discussion. Yes, Councilmember Shields.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to amend Bill 25-139 to have a period of 20 years from the date adopted to expire in 2045.
Okay, we have a motion to amend to a date of November 2025.
No, August 2045.
Oh, okay. The date of adoption, 20 years from the date of adoption by Councilmember Shields. I have a second on the amendment by Councilmember Hodges. Discussion on the amendment. Okay. Not seeing any discussion, so we are I'm calling for the vote for the amendment to 20 years from the date of passage of the ordinance. Please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It does pass 7-0, so it's unanimous. Now back to the bill number 25-139 as amended. We have a motion to adopt by Councilmember Hodges, seconded by Shields. Discussion. Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It does pass, goes to second reading unanimously, so. Thank you. All right, we're going to go to another public hearing. I'm going to close the regular session and open the public hearing in the matter of Agenda Item 4D. This is a rezoning from Ag to R1, 3609 Southwest Pryor Road, 3613 Southwest Pryor Road, 3699 Southwest Pryor Road, 3620 Southwest Crane Road, and 2 abutting unaddressed parcels. Michael King, Richard McMillin are the applicants. Would all those wishing to speak to this matter please rise to be sworn in by the city clerk?
To tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Let's see. How do I turn this on, folks? Like this right here? Thank you very much. Perfect. Good evening, council members. Thank you. My name is Michael King, and I live at 3620 Southwest Crane Road. And we're here for rezoning our properties at 3613, 3699, 3609, and 3620, which is on Crane, from agricultural to R1. Simple request, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer it. I mean, now our neighborhood, for the most part, is non-conforming, so it really doesn't make any sense to, for us anyway, to continue with the agricultural. It does. The R1 allows us, opportunities to develop if we want to add on to our homes, things like that. My wife and I have a pretty good family, big family, so that's what actually motivated us to do this. When 3619 came up for sale, we decided to go ahead and buy it. It was abandoned for about 7 years, and it was overgrown, and so we purchased the property, and this is kind of what started the process. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hector Soto Jr., Senior Planner. I'd like to enter into the record Exhibit A, list of Exhibits 1 through 12.
Please enter into the record Exhibit A 1 through 12.
So as Mr. King had mentioned, the request before you is to rezone 6 parcels from agricultural to R1. A little bit of history for this subdivision. Most of the homes through here were developed between the 50s and 70s. This property up until 1964 was in unincorporated Jackson County. In 64, it was annexed into Lease Summit. The city's practice historically and continues to be this way is that the zoning that the property had at the time of annexation is what's kept, unless at the time of annexation the applicant specifically requests to rezone the property. So in 1964, this property was zoned ag. It came in with ag and still continues to be ag in zoning. As you can see, the actual configuration and use of the property is more consistent with a standard single-family subdivision. Now, to this point, periodically over the years, we've had some requests from certain property owners that have had a desire to add on to or expand their homes, but the existing ag zoning wouldn't allow for such, in that they couldn't meet the more onerous setbacks that agricultural zoning have because they're geared toward large acreage. So in this case specifically, you have minimum, for example, 50-foot side yard setbacks. These lots you could not possibly fit a home or an addition and accommodate with those kind of setbacks. So over the years, we've had interest, but no one has come forward. We now have a couple property owners that actually have interest in rezoning the property in order to accomplish some of their goals of, well, in some cases, expanding the lots that they have. I'll draw something really quick. For example, the desire that drove this application is that the 2 parcels that are outlined in red, the northern one, the desire is to combine that with the existing lot with a single family on the north, and similar to do so on the property to the south. The subject applicants here also own these adjacent hatched properties, And like Mr. King had mentioned, since they were already going through the process for these other lots, they thought might as well join these other properties in order to kind of lessen or make some of those setback requirements a little bit more manageable should in the future they decide, or a future property owner decides to make some additions or improvements to the property. So that is the sole driving reason as to why this application is before you. Now, I guess I don't want to anticipate any question you might have, but a question someone might have is, well, why just not rezone the entire neighborhood? As part of this process, we did ask the applicant to reach out to their neighbors to see if there was any other interest for them to also rezone, so they could just be part of this application and not just individually go through and rezoning piecemeal, but rather go in through one public hearing and share the costs as they see fit, and address some of those zoning issues. But it's just these owners here of the 6 property owners that chose to move forward. So with that said, staff is recommending approval of rezoning from Ag to R1, subject to conditions 1 and 2.
Okay, thank you. Questions for staff or the applicant? Is it correct that you asked the others to participate, and it looks like the property owner on Crane is the one that participated?
Yes.
That's good. Okay. And primarily what triggered this is you want to split those 2 lots and make them a part of the other 2 properties, the property to the north and the property to the south.
Correct. It's that lot split and recombination that drove the application. Yes.
All right. Makes sense. Okay. Questions? I'm not seeing any other than the ones I just had. So is there anyone here that wishes to speak in favor or in opposition to the application? Please come forward.
Teresa Vollenweider, 5201 Northeast Maybrook Road. On that top lot, it looks like there's 3 structures. What are those?
This is not a back and forth, but I'll go ahead, Mr. Soto.
The residence and 2 outbuildings. There's a smaller shed and a larger detached garage storage building.
So it seems like to me you may be taking this from a compliant situation to a non-compliant regarding sheds and structures on ag. You can have an unlimited number, any size you want. But when you go to a residential, you can only have 1 shed.
I'll let you keep going. Mr. Soto, we will keep track of the questions and ask you afterwards, but this is not a back and forth with Mr. Soto. This is if you have public.
That's my concern. Okay. Is, because you all force other people to, when they have 2 buildings, the person I'm thinking about is Paula Deal. She was required to rezone and plat her property, which meant she had to hire a surveyor. And it was because she had 2 buildings on a lot that was zoned R1. One of the buildings was going up. I take it that she had to stop construction on that because the city caught her and made her do that. So this is just the opposite situation, but yet you all forced her to do that. And I have a concern about that. That seems like discrimination to me.
Okay. Any further questions or anybody else wishes to speak in favor or against? Yes, sir. Please come forward.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Leroy Hanley. I live across the street from Mike. And I was just wondering, the last 5 years, we've got our assessments from the county, and it's always been residential. And I'm just wondering, why is it residential when they're saying it's agricultural? Is that a county issue? Yep. Okay. So I need to go to the county then.
Yeah, they're assessing you as residential, which would be, going to be assessed at a higher rate.
Well, I'm assessed at a higher rate now, being residential, and they're saying we're agricultural.
Correct. You're going to have to take it up with them.
With the county? Okay, thank you.
Yep. Mr. Soto, Councilmember Shields?
Thank you, Mayor. Actually, just following up on the gentleman's question, the zoning and the land use aren't necessarily the same, right? So you can have property that's zoned in an agricultural zone, but it's being used as residential property. It has a residential structure on it.
Correct. They can be
a lot of these-
dissimilar. Yes.
Right. So I can't speak to any particular person's assessment, but when the county looks at it, they may be looking at the use rather than whatever the actual zoning allows there.
That is correct.
Because a property could be zoned P-mix or something, it could have a residence on it, or it could have a commercial building, and they have to look at what the actual building is that's there.
Correct. They look at
Okay.
the actual use of the property, not necessarily the zoning.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Soto, when somebody wants to make changes, when it is residential and it's zoned ag, for them to make changes, they need to get in conforming. They need to start conforming to the actual use, and that's what triggers this. Is that correct?
Correct. I mean, as it stood, if no changes were being made to the property, then it could have just continued the way it has been. But since they are making some changes or improvements to the property, or proposed to, triggered the application before you.
Mm-hmm. And if someone wanted to do a structure on one of these, like, one of them has a driveway on it.
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
Let me look at this.
I believe the northern part.
The north one has a driveway on it.
Yes.
Is there a garage?
There is not a garage on that particular parcel, so it provides.
Let's just say they wanted to put a garage on that parcel.
Mhm.
They would have a hard time doing that with ag because of the setbacks.
Correct. Yes.
So, in other words, if you want to put a garage on it, then it needs to, and if you need to connect it to the property to the north, and it needs to be zoned residential.
Correct.
Yeah, that is correct.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay. Is there, does the applicant care to make any further comment? All right, thank you, sir. Hearing no further discussion, I'm closing the public hearing and reopening the regular session. Is there any council discussion on this application? Seeing none, Councilmember Shields, would you please read Bill number 25-140?
Thank you, Mayor. I move for second reading Bill number 25-140, an ordinance approving a rezoning for land located at 3609 Southwest Pryor Road, 3613 Southwest Pryor Road, 3699 Southwest Pryor Road, 3620 Southwest Crane Road, and 2 abutting unaddressed parcels, all in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 33 Unified Development Ordinance of the Code of Ordinances for the City of Lee's Summit, Missouri.
Thank you. A motion to move to second reading, Bill number 25-140 by Councilmember Shields, seconded by Councilmember Hodges. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. Does pass 7-0. Thank you for bringing it into a conforming use. All right, we're going to close the regular session one more time, I believe. One more time. And open the public hearing in the matter of agenda item 4E, Unified Development Ordinance, Article 8, Site Standards pertaining to architecture and building design, Article 15, Rules of Interpretation and Definitions. The City of Lee's Summit is the applicant. Would all those wishing to speak to this matter please rise and be sworn in by the city clerk?
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Good evening, Adair Bright, Senior Planner, and here with Abby Eckberg with Confluence to present our Architecture and Building Design Standards update. I would like to enter into the record Exhibit A, list of exhibits 1 through 18.
Please enter into the record Exhibit A, 1 through 18.
So we've had many conversations over the past few months, and this code update is before you not just because of items that staff, planning commissioners, and council members identified, but also because of our comprehensive plan and more specifically the land use and community design goal. The comp plan noted that the community supports design policies that protect and enhance the community's assets and image. And the proposed code amendments align with the goal by focusing on the quality of development that we see and ensuring longevity. A few of the goals with this project include updating our standards to provide clarity of expectations and enhancing our building material requirements while remaining a city of choice for developers. Our current building design standards are very high level and regulated by zoning district, whereas the proposed code will focus on building types and outline the standards in that way. This is just a summary of the proposed updates and is reflective of the attachments in your packets, which included marked up versions and clean versions of the draft. Majority of the changes are consistent with what was presented at the most recent joint session in April, but there were some updated areas after that session, which we'll focus in on tonight, and those were updated through guidance provided to us at those sessions. I will now turn over this portion to Abby to discuss our collaborative efforts through this project and specific code language.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Abby Eckberg. I'm with Confluence, based out of our Kansas City office. You've seen my other half, Chris Shires, so I'm making a celebrity guest appearance here tonight for you. As Adair mentioned, we have gone through a series of public engagement opportunities throughout this process, where we kicked off with an open house back in December of 2024. The event, while lightly attended, was supplemented through a series of stakeholder interviews in which we met with builders, architects, developers, people involved in the industry that are pretty well acquainted with other cities and their architectural and design standards and are practicing in the community today, to get a wide variety of perspectives and kind of input on how they would like to see these developed in Lease Summit. We did meet with you in the Planning Commission both in December and in April of which being the most recent event, where we got a lot of great feedback and discussion from you all on the final direction of the plan and how we would like to move forward. We did reach back out to those stakeholders that we met with back in November and December, just to regroup with them of, here's what we heard from you, here's what we've heard from the Planning Commission and City Council, the other residents of the community. This is where we've drafted the plan to. Did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? Do you have any final notes and feedback for us? From that, we did have some kind of direction to meet with the Home Builders Association, so we met with them in May and had a really great conversation with them with a few tweaks, but a lot of positive feedback on that, on what we had proposed. From that, the four kind of big themes that came from the conversations had during that public engagement period revolved around quality materials. So we want to make sure that our buildings are built to last and they're built to make long-term and durable places for spaces and everybody to recreate and live and move around in the community. There was a lot of desire for a variety of materials. We don't just want one facade type. We want to see a variety so that visually it's a little different there as well. But then the one thing that was really highlighted through the stakeholder interviews and just general discussion was the flexibility and standards at Lease Summit. And we wanted to make sure that we maintained that flexibility and those conversations and discussions with developers as they come to you all with different great ideas and trying to build within the community as well. So as Adair noted, in the packets you have before you, anything that's red text is new text. Anything that is green text is relocated text. So the subdivision 4 you have here in front of you, that text was revised just for brevity and clarity and relocated to subdivision 4, and same thing with section 8.100 there. I won't read all of this verbatim to you. The real big thing here to focus in on is the building types, and that's the differentiator within these standards before you here today. So you'll see those are separated out into different categories, such as single-family residential, and then a variety of use types supplemented within that so that people can kind of use these guides or use these standards as a guide for where they need to go within the standards following that. Given that we're talking about architectural and building design standards, we have four-sided architectural discussions as well as top, middle, and base design. Really, again, just focusing back to those key themes of we want quality design, we want quality materials, and we want a variety of them. So these really just focus in on how do we want to see that built and constructed in the community. Even with the top, middle, base that calls into wall and roof articulation, so that it's not just flat roofs, it's got a little bit of push and pull, and again, some visual appeal there. From your last meeting back in April, this has changed slightly where building facadism was and is discouraged, whereas now franchise architecture was prohibited and now has been changed to discouraged, just to, again, allow that flexibility in those standards as conversations come to you all. With the application of overhead doors, this one has changed again a little slightly since your meeting back in April. We recognize that maybe industrial users aren't likely to want or use glass overhead doors, and so that has been changed for commercial versus non-commercial users, and just cleaned up for kind of consistency's sake there. And I will pass it back to Adair.
Another discussion point from the April joint session was concerning single-family and two-family design standards. Subsection A was originally presented as a maximum 50% width, and subsection B didn't exist at all. We had our meeting with the KCHBA in May, and they completely understood having a maximum width for garage doors, but did recommend upping it from 50% to 60%. We went back and looked through some typical building plans we see during the permitting phase, and our average was around 55 to 57%, so it made sense to go ahead and up that maximum to 60. Subsection B was actually a recommendation from the builders at that meeting. As they mentioned, they are already recessing that third car garage and would be favorable to that being codified. So we went ahead and put that in there. Turn it back over to Abby.
So one of the useful components to this design standard set in front of you are the series of tables, so that once people know their building type, then they can turn to these, see the classifications of building materials, and then the building type material tables that I'll get to on the next slide. The building materials are classified through class 1 through 4, class 1 being your most durable, likely to withstand a lot of use and age and such, whereas class 4 is a little less durable. And so we try to encourage more of the 1, 2s, and 3s. These material tables were developed through just different conversations and experiences in other communities, as well as just the existing standards within Lease Summit, those public input and stakeholder interviews that we had early in the effort, and then just where we're hoping to see the community go as well. So this is the following table where once you get into building type, you can start to see how those building materials are applied to your project and really just kind of do a checklist of are you meeting those standards, what might need to change. But again, being a very useful tool for yourselves as you go through the decision-making process, as well as developers looking to see how they need to meet standards. And back to Adair.
The proposed amendments reinstate the metal building locations, which will allow the needed flexibility in those areas while also increasing the standards to require that a mix of materials be utilized and main building entries be articulated. The Planning Commission did recommend that the language be further modified to require the base of all buildings to utilize materials from a class 1, 2, or 3, and to include a protective feature. The amendment as currently written would require all sides of the buildings to meet that requirement. And so that one's kind of probably a good discussion point for tonight, and I'll turn it back to Abby.
We're in the final push of slides, I promise. For development and office and commercial districts, this section really just focuses in on the open space standards and making sure that there is open space provided within those areas as well. For building mounted and rooftop equipment, think about your HVAC systems, making sure that they're not visible from the street view for that pedestrian view zone so that they are kind of disguised or hidden or screened from that. Same thing with your trash and recycling containers. Those have to be screened within kind of a enclosure, that's what I'm looking for. They do have to use the same materials as the principal structure so that they do have to match within that. They do have to follow different kind of location standards as well. But again, just making sure that from the street view that they aren't standing out and visible and kind of glaring in that sense there. And then the last thing we wanted to touch on here was how does Lee Summit compare to the other communities that do have architectural and building design standards, both in our metro and then beyond within Franklin, Tennessee and Carmel, Indiana. You can see across the board that we are still maintaining that level of flexibility that Lee Summit is currently known for and that we want to maintain throughout. In the cases of colors being regulated or prohibited materials, for colors regulated, that could be just saying we don't want hot pink houses or hot pink buildings downtown or something of that sort. And so that just, it's not to say that the colors are prohibited, but it is just a discussion to have over time. For prohibited materials, there is a discrepancy or a note within the materials tables that is up to the director or their designee, should there be a material not listed on that table today that they need to designate as a class 1, 2, 3, or 4. So it is kind of caught within there, just not directly prohibiting anything in the community today. And then, yeah, thank you for your time tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I suppose.
Okay. Questions for the applicant or consultant? Councilmember Shields.
Thank you. So when you worked with stakeholders on this, were there any of the recommended changes that they were particularly concerned about in terms of making it difficult to develop in Lee Summit or driving costs or anything like that?
We only got one comment back from the stakeholders that we reached back out to. Their own concern was just maintaining that level of flexibility within design. I think that, to quote them, it was trying to find the secret sauce of we want to maintain flexibility within the materials and the design standards, but also wanting to give architects a little bit kind of sticking power, saying, do we want to have more kind of historic architecture appeal in the community? And so trying to balance out the level of design, but with the flexibility of standards. And that was really just, it wasn't anything constructive. It was more just kind of a overall comment on the standards.
Okay. In terms of things like four-sided architecture, was everybody pretty open to that or did or didn't like that?
Yeah, there was a comment as well concerning four-sided architecture. However, that is a requirement that we have today that people are meeting. So I don't think that we would want to remove that and lower that standard.
Okay. And then I guess at this point, are we to the point where it's just an up or down vote? Is it possible to, I know we've had a lot of discussions about this. I just want to understand the process at this point.
Yeah, we are always open. I mean, if there's anything that you think should be amended and we're able to do that, that's fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Carlisle.
Thank you, Mayor. So I just want to go back to where you had the additional from Planning Commission. And I just wanted to kind of discuss that. So it came through Planning Commission as we've seen it with the exception of the red added here. And they decided that they think that should be added?
Yes.
Is that correct? Did they give purpose or reason for it?
Yeah, the purpose and reason was actually kind of related to the building earlier this evening, concerning just the overall maintenance of the buildings and the damage that can be done to metal around the base of the building.
Can you elaborate more, please? Because that building had a higher standard at the bottom, if I remember right.
Good evening, Amy Nassif, Deputy Director of Development. It did. I think just because that project was on the agenda, it spurred a conversation with one of the commissioners and an overall sense of, should we address this now? We did explain it's not a problem that we're seeing in Lee Summit at all right now. We don't have any concerns with the other buildings where this has happened with the use of metal around the base, but they wanted to do it, still add it as a protective and a preventative measure for your consideration, whether or not to include it.
Okay. Councilmember Carlisle?
Oh, yeah, I'm finished.
Okay, thank you. Yes, we are. I mean, I'm going to pull that one up because I was pretty intrigued by that building myself, so I can kind of see why they got distracted by it. And the bottom of that building was a concrete block. and then above it was a metal, and then above it was another metal, and then over on the edges was a textured wall, I'm guessing like a stucco. You know. Okay. Councilmember Shields.
Thank you. I guess kind of on this particular provision, what are class 4 materials? I understand they're ones that are not necessarily as durable. Can you give me like a couple of examples of what they're trying to prohibit on the base of buildings here?
Yeah, so, sorry, let me pull up my handy dandy copy here. In those, it's the, if you look through, like in the roofing materials, more membrane, wood shake shingles. So the ones that are more known in the industry to be less durable, more on the cheaper side, that we're trying to restrict those or not allow those as often. But yeah, so you'll see like vinyl and PVC siding in those.
Okay. I'm kind of flipping through them.
Yeah.
Vinyl, it says metal panels, but not architectural quality metal panels. Okay.
Correct.
What would
Yeah,
it
so that's more
okay.
like going to Menards and getting like the crinkle tin and not allowing that kind of stuff.
Okay, and what would a protective feature be? Like what would protect?
For the base of the building?
Well, they're saying class 1, 2, or 3, or include a protective feature, so what would that be?
I think through those conversations, it's more like the bollards that you could put in front of the
gotcha.
structure. So I think in the conversations at Planning Commission, it was so like snow plows can't run into the building accidentally, or anybody could accidentally bump into it or scuff it up and such.
And is that defined somewhere in the code?
That is a good question on that one.
Good evening. Abby's correct, it is bollards, but we also left it very open and flexible. So it could be a planting bed, a landscape area, it could be the stop, the block in front of like a parking stall, anything. We wanted just to leave it very open. So it could be any feature at all, natural or not, that just prevents a car from driving up that close or someone walking and kicking it.
So that's what I'm just trying to get. Is that defined somewhere in the code so that someone who's looking at this, even if it's a broad definition like that, knows what we're talking about?
We did not. If you all decide to include this amendment, we can certainly add a note to that in this section of the UDO, no problem at all.
Okay. I mean, I think if that's included, it would just be a good idea because that elucidated it for me. Like I wouldn't have known what we were talking about otherwise. Thank you.
Were you saying to specify what the protective feature would be?
Or what, just like what that means. A protective feature may include blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Is it fair to say, like, if you have maybe a little bit higher quality base, I just have seen a lot of buildings, and I've seen, let's say vinyl. I've seen a lot of buildings that had vinyl all the way to the ground, and then weed eaters go right through the vinyl, and it looks really bad. So a little bit more protective feature, plus water damage, from grass and such. This would help ensure sustainability. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any other questions for staff and the applicant all in one? Okay. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak in favor or against this application? Please come forward. Is there any further questions from council? Any further comment from staff? Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
Thank you, Mayor. We're back and open, correct?
No.
Oh, then I'll wait.
Okay. Seeing no further testimony, I am closing the public hearing and reopening the regular session. Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
Thanks, Mayor. Thank you, Ms. Nassif and your team, and for all the hard work, our consultant. I know this has been a process, and it's not an easy process, but as best as we can, I like the direction we're headed. I mean, I think as a council, I think we all agree, and we hear this from our constituents and business people. We want higher standards for all construction, and I think this helps us kind of get to that direction or head towards that direction. So I'm very pleased, and I appreciate the efforts. So thank you all very much, and let's keep building better quality. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councilmember Carlisle?
Thank you, Mayor. I would just say that I have nothing against adding that planning commission recommendation, as long as we do, as Councilmember Shields spoke to earlier, put something in there to give an example of what it can or cannot be. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I think when I look at this building that was on the other application that was on, and you see the different materials and you see the different colors, I mean, it's a pretty nice looking rendering, that's for sure, for being a industrial space. And yesteryear, this would have just been all metal, no change of aesthetics in any way. I mean, they're changing the color of the trim, and it makes all the difference in the world as far as aesthetics go. So I really like all these changes, and I thought it was a good catch with regard to the base. I think the base could be elevated a little bit to protect the integrity of the building for the long run. So, Councilmember Shields?
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate the amount of work that's gone into this and the engagement, especially with all the stakeholder engagement, to make sure that we're not creating anything that's going to be too onerous. You know, I always have my questions about, do we really need to mandate exactly how wide a garage can be or exactly how deeply recessed a third car garage is? I don't really know what we're achieving doing that, like why we care. If somebody wants to build a home, buy a home that looks a certain way, as long as it's safe and has adequate infrastructure to serve it, I really don't care. So I'll vote for this because I appreciate the amount of input that's come to it from all different directions, and that it's adding flexibility on some items. But, you know, I just always have to say, like, we can just chill out about some things. It'll be okay. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Okay, Councilmember Carlisle, would you please read Bill number 25-141?
Thank you, Mayor. I would move Bill number 25-141, an ordinance amending Chapter 33 Unified Development Ordinance of the Lease Code of Ordinances, Article 8, Division 1, pertaining to design standards for Article 15, pertaining to rules of interpretation and definitions for the city of Lee Summit, Missouri, be second read.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading Bill number 25-141 by Councilmember Carlisle, seconded by Councilmember Hodges. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. Does go to second reading unanimously. Thank you all. Public comments. Looks like I have one public commenter this evening, Ms. Vollenweider. Please keep in mind, it's for public comment portions for part of the council meeting is a time where the public may address council on any matter listed in the council agenda for the meeting or directly related to the operations of the city of Lee Summit, except for those matters that are a subject of a public hearing requiring that testimony be sworn. Each person wishing to provide public comment will be given 3 minutes to speak. Any person wishing to provide handouts or information materials to the mayor and city council shall provide the materials to the city clerk, who will then distribute them information to the mayor and council.
Teresa Vollenweider, 5201 Northeast Maybrook Road. I'm going to draw your attention first to this. I showed this the last time, I think. This was a rezoning from ag to residential large lot, with the reason being not because he couldn't build a house on 4.93 acres of property that zoned ag. He could, but he couldn't meet the setbacks with the size of the house he wanted to have on a narrow lot. So those are those setbacks. Hector Soto put this together. I'm just reusing it. 100 for ag, it's 100 feet in the front, 50 and 50. And for residential large lot, it's 30, 10, and 30. So it's a very significant change. This was for 5261 Northeast Maybrook Road, which is next to me. And this is Kent Monter saying the proposed rezoning from ag to residential large lot is being requested in order to allow the construction of a single-family home on the subject property. Well, it could already be done. This is a diagram that was by Matthew Schlisch showing the house. That lot is about 300 feet by 500 feet. You could easily meet the rezoning, the setbacks by putting your house there. But if you want to run a baseball business and you need that field to be a regulation field, you can't do that. So the reason they needed to rezone this property was because they couldn't meet the setbacks if they had a regulation baseball field on the property. Doing all this took the property out of compliance because there's a 40 by 80 building here, that's a shed, and there's a shed here, and there's an awning here, another structure. On residential large lot, your sheds can only be 250 square feet. You can only have one. Can't be a detached garage because it was built in 2014, it was detached from nothing. So here's a situation where, again, Paula Deal, you all forced her to go and rezone an R1 lot to ag because she was going to have 2 buildings on it. And in ag, you can have unlimited buildings, unlimited size. This property, 5261, now does not conform to the UDO.
All right, thank you,
the
Ms.
zoning
Hollmeyer.
ordinances. What are you going to do about it?
All right, next on the agenda. Is a resolution to be read by our city clerk, please.
Sorry. Resolution number 25-17, a resolution to establish the Green Street First Amendment Public Forum Policy for the city of Lee Summit, Missouri.
Thank you. We have a motion to adopt resolution number 25-17 by Councilmember Hodges, seconded by Councilmember Shields. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. Passes 6-0. Takes us to proposed ordinances forwarded from committee. Mayor Pro Tem Lopez, would you please read Bill number 25-132?
Yes, sure can, Mayor. A quick question. City Attorney, there was a substitute bill presented to me.
I think that another council member may want to read that.
Okay, so do I go ahead and read the regular one on the agenda? Okay, all right, thank you. I move for second reading of Bill number 25-132, an ordinance amending Chapter 4, Alcoholic Beverages, Article 1, in general, Section 4 through 13, dispensing alcoholic beverages, issuance of liquor license near school or church, of Code of Ordinances for the city of Lee Summit, Missouri.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading. Bill number 25-132 by Mayor Pro Tem Lopez, seconded by Councilmember Hodges. Discussion. Yes, Councilmember Rader.
Thank you, Mayor. So if you guys remember a few weeks ago, Galaxy Liquor is the one that came forth with this appeal to have their business within closer than what than the 300 feet from the church. And so it was something that came before us to look at the appeal. Now, I want to tell you that I felt very strongly about this when it happened at the time. And this is why I am bringing it before you again tonight. I feel like that it is our responsibility to protect the young children in this community as much as legally possible. Churches have daycare centers, and they have children programming activities, as well as schools. Some churches have schools inside of them. Kids, as we all know, are always tempted by the things that they're prohibited from getting access to. And so as I thought about it, I thought, can we depend on our businesses, these type of establishments, to have their employees trained to recognize if kids who are underage or trying to buy liquor, cigarettes, or vaping supplies are going to make sure that that doesn't happen? And will they care? So Mr. Head helped me, instead of amending this, what we did is he helped me write this as a substitute bill, and I'm going to read it. I know you guys can read, but I'm just going to read it out loud. It just simply changes what Mayor Pro Tem Lopez read to read. It shall be unlawful to sell, dispense, or give away alcoholic beverages, nor shall a license be granted for the sale of alcoholic beverages within 300 feet of any church, school, or other building regularly used as a place of religious worship. Now, this wouldn't be retroactive, so it's not going to affect any kind of ordinances and a liquor license that we currently have in place. But I did have a lot of discussion with our chief of police, Chief Forbes, and I believe that he was on board with this. It expedites the liquor licensing process. It streamlines it. It makes it a lot easier for them to just stick with, you can't have anything closer than 300 feet that is a liquor establishment to a church or a school. And so I look to you for discussion or to change this to the substitute bill. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Discussion. Councilmember Hodges?
I just want to say I would be in favor of this, in support of the substitute bill.
Thank you. Councilmember Pryor?
Thank you, Mayor. I also am in favor of it, and I actually think it's very important. So thank you for bringing that forward.
Councilmember Shields?
I guess I don't know that this is a change that we need to make. It seems like the particular application that we had a few weeks ago, the neighboring church didn't have any issue with a liquor license being granted within 300 feet. They didn't have any opposition to it. We already have the ability to review them on a case-by-case basis, so I don't see the need to make a change at this point. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hodges?
I just want to make a comment on Councilmember Shields' point. I remember when they came and presented as Galaxy Liquor, and they had mentioned that they didn't get any opposition from the church. But my big question to that is, and I had asked a staff member this, what proof do we have other than to just take their word that they actually spoke to somebody at the church, that we have proof? That I mean, it's one thing to be like, yeah, we have no opposition, we spoke to, well, I guess how do we really know, and maybe this is a question for staff, like how do we do our due diligence other than to just take their word for it to know that they actually did go talk to the appropriate people at the church, or how do we know that's actually happening?
Mayor, members of council, Travis Forbes, Chief of Police. There actually is no way that the current ordinance is that process is done. It's pretty rare that we get an application within that distance, but there's no formalized process like we have with a preliminary development plan or things of that nature where we go around and have an inquiry of the neighbors in that particular region. So it's something we could add, I suppose, to the process, but it's not currently in ordinance to do that.
Okay, that was just my question, because I'm like, of course they want us to believe the most positive thing about their business, which anybody would, but I don't want to just 100% take somebody's word for it when we're not doing our due diligence and be like, hey, yeah, we spoke to them as well, or yes, we sent out a survey or whatever it is, to make sure that that is accurate information that we're being provided with from just the applicant who's wanting a business here, so.
Yes, that's a fair point.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Rader.
Thank you, Mayor. And I also want to add that I want to be proactive on this. I don't want to be reactive. Yes, they made the comment that the pastor said that he didn't care anything about it, but was there consideration for the other members that attend that church and the children that are in that church? And so I don't want to find out later that something terrible happened because, we let that appeal go through instead of just letting it go through the process of it, what the statutes currently are. So I guess that's the other thing, too. And again, I'm just going to say this again. I just think it's our responsibility to do the best that we can to make sure that we're protecting these children. And 300 feet is not very many feet away from a church or a school to begin with. And so I'm just very passionate about this, and I hope that you'll reconsider and substitute this bill. Thank you.
Councilmember Shields.
Thank you, Mayor. So it is already illegal to sell alcohol or tobacco to minors, right? Obviously.
Yes.
What enforcement mechanisms do we have in place at this point? Can you speak to the issues? Do you see more issues for alcohol stores that are close to schools or churches? And do you have like undercover buyers to enforce, or like, because I know you have different kinds of programs, but can you speak a little bit to that?
We do proactive stings of liquor stores, restaurants, anyone who distributes liquor in any form. We do have proactive stings that we combine sometimes with cigarettes and tobacco products too, and do stings. We also do it on a complaint basis too. If a parent tells us somehow their child got a hold of liquor from a particular store, we'll work that complaint backwards as well. So we do enforce those. Regarding issues with proximity, obviously anything within walking distance of a school or a church where kids can easily access it, it could present a few more issues for access. So sometimes we do find those in proximity to a school can become a gathering spot, as kids have always done since the beginning of time. Before or after school, they gather in certain spots, hopefully on the school premises, but sometimes just off the school premises.
Okay. This is something that you feel like is a change that needs to be made for public safety for the community?
We always err on the side of public safety from the police perspective, so anything that makes it safer in the distribution of alcohol, I think would have some positive benefits for us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Pryor.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'm not trying to harp on Galaxy Liquor too much, although I voted no and I still don't agree with that being right there. But this is just an example. That Deerbrook Church is used for several scouting troops and scouting events, and a lot of those parents leave the children wait out in front of the church for their parent to come pick them up. And to me, having it within 300 feet, having it in that close proximity, it's just dangerous for kids to be able to walk right over there. Everyone knows that chain has been known for selling for minors when you look at the one in Lawrence, Kansas, and things like that. And for kids to go over there and have that close of proximity to vape and alcohol, I'm personally just not comfortable with at all. So I think this would be a good safety measure to put in place to prevent things like that in the future. Because I've driven by there. I've actually picked my kids up from an event there, and there's 20 kids waiting out front at any given time after those scouting events, waiting for parents to come pick them up that are essentially unattended. So I don't know.
Thank you. Councilmember Carlisle?
Thank you, Mayor. So when you guys do these sting operations, you do them how often?
We don't have a set schedule. A couple times a year at least, we try to get those accomplished.
And do we have a large problem with finding them selling to minors when you have these operations?
That's pretty subjective, so we usually do get violations. I would say not the majority of businesses that we check. The majority know that we do these stings, and we don't keep it private. We actually put it out on our social media and all sorts of things, so everybody knows that we do these. But we do get violations for sure.
Do we have a lot of repeat offenders on that?
And they usually learn the first time, but I won't say there's never been a repeat offender, but it's fairly uncommon for them to. We also encourage that they do training if we have a violation. We work with the prosecutor's office, and I know they work with violators to say, hey, how about you train your staff so you avoid this happening again and putting your license in jeopardy.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chief, but I still have some stuff to say. You know, I completely agree with we do need to protect our children, and trying to do whatever's best for them is great, but I don't think that we can regulate our adults out of drinking, wherever that may be, and leaving no option for somebody who wants to bring a business to Lee Summit and they're 2 feet shorter than they should be away from something. I just don't think that's a great idea. I think the way it's written, we have the opportunity to say, no, it's too close and we don't want it there. But also, you know, a church can pop up anywhere, and we've seen that in numerous locations in Lee Summit. They are in strip malls where there may have been a liquor store there first. So then what happens? So I just don't think leaving no option for a business to come before us and appeal is a good option for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Rader?
Thank you, Mayor. We had the opportunity to turn it down, but we did not. So I guess I just did not understand the reasoning as to why we did not. And that's why I'm proposing this. So thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez?
Mayor, so before I consider the substitute bill, I'll make a comment, and then I would like our legal counsel, maybe not so much Chief, to explain to us and explain to the public what the ramifications are for making a decision like this, because it does have consequences. And I mean, hey, we're elected officials, we take the arrows, and absolutely, I don't think anybody up here believes that we should expose children to alcohol or any kind of, bad substance. So that should not be the issue, period, up here. But I want to know legally what the ramifications are. Should we allow this substitute bill to be in there? I would like our legal opinion from our city attorney. And I would agree with Councilmember Carlisle. I mean, we start over-regulating, then we're trying to welcome businesses. These are legal businesses. Chief Forbes, I mean, this is a rare exception that you didn't have the authority to approve this liquor license. So how often do these come? In 8 years, I don't think I've ever seen one of these come before the council. So how often do these happen in this rare situation? And we're changing the charter. That has, in my opinion, some very serious ramifications that sends the wrong message to the business community. And absolutely, we don't believe in, I'll make that statement again, in exposing children to alcohol or any kind of foreign substance. Absolutely not. None of us believe in that. I don't. So I want that to be the record. So if our legal counsel can maybe give us some insights.
Sure. So I'm sitting in for the city attorney tonight, but I have talked with him about this. he did work up the proposed alternative language that Councilmember Rader is advancing. And from my discussion with him, this is a legally available option, so you have the legal discretion to do this if you'd like. And the simple description of this would be the provision today makes it unlawful within 100 feet, and then between 100 and 300 feet, it's a discretionary decision. This amendment would simply remove that discretion, and so it would not be allowed within 300 feet. It's that simple. And our city attorney said that this is a legally available option if you'd like to use it.
Yeah, a point of clarification too, the city ordinance, the liquor ordinance was changed about 2 years ago roughly to reduce some of the workload of city council, because formerly city council had to approve every liquor license that came through. So we made it an administrative process where the director of liquor control can approve those licenses instead of all of them coming to council. The one provision, or there's several provisions, but one of the provisions is I'm unable to approve anything that's between the 100 and 300 feet from a school or a church. That's remained in the ordinance that goes before council. So that's, it has been rare in the last 2 years. We've only had one, but I wouldn't say it's gone back 11 years since I've been here to have those come before council, because prior to that, all of them came before council.
And to follow up, Chief, on the question that was posed, you know, whether we implement something, apparently we probably need to clean that up to allow for, in this case, a faith-based organization to truly have input in this process. And whether the operator, the applicant really spoke to someone or not, I agree, we need to implement something. However, when all property owners are noticed, the church is noticed, correct? So they know that they can come before a public meeting, like the city council meeting, when we're approving this, or when it's coming before us. Is that true?
Well, it's a general notice, so I mean, they would have to keep their eye on council agendas and packets, and I'm not sure how many churches or schools throughout the, probably R7's pretty good about that, but I'm not sure our individual churches monitor the council agendas like staff does or you all do, so it's not a noticing to the extent like signage is put up. We send out mailers to area residents. Nothing like that currently exists. It is we do have some cleanup, I think, to do in the ordinance. And so when you ask me about licensing decisions, I have two hats that I wear, a licensing officer and an enforcement officer. And I tend to stray toward the enforcement side because that's in my DNA, so to speak. So I look at these decisions more of an enforcement angle.
And perfectly, I agree with that comment. But I think that's what we need to do is clean up the ordinance. I think it's very sloppy. And we shouldn't have to come to this situation for us to pick and choose something like this. I think there should be measures in there to prevent this from happening. And, but I would agree. The majority of us, decided to approve this. And I still feel the same way, but I stated my opinion for all my colleagues, and I'm convicted by that. I despise unlawfully providing access to minors, to children, of any foreign substance that they're not eligible to consume or partake in. But in this case, I think we have to stay consistent with policy, and we don't want to send the wrong message as a pro-business community. But absolutely, we need to clean up that ordinance. That's my opinion, Mayor. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Shields.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to clarify, when we're talking about this, we're talking about all types of liquor licenses, whether it's a C-store or a grocery store or a restaurant. Like, doesn't anyone who's selling alcohol need to have those, or am I understanding that right?
I would have to go back and verify and read that. Do you know, David?
For sell, dispense, or give away, right? So whether it's for consumption on premises or off premises, or...
So this might help. The discussion, the item that went through the CDC led to this version of the bill. And so as it came forward from the committee, this is the only change. It would add dispense or giveaway, which I think answers your question.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is, like, I feel like our discussion is sort of focused on almost like C-stores, like worrying about kids going and buying, at least that's the tenor that I felt, worrying about kids going and buying beer at a convenience mart. But this would also apply to like restaurants and grocery stores and everything, right? And like, I just want to make sure, like we're saying basically like a restaurant couldn't be within 300 feet of a church if they want to sell alcohol and be able to make a profit and stay in business.
Yes, that would be correct.
Okay, so if you want to go to church and afterwards go out to brunch and have a mimosa with your kids, that within 300 feet of a church, that would not be allowed.
Under the proposed ordinance.
Under the proposed substitute
Under the current
bill.
ordinance, under
Right.
100 feet, it would not be allowed.
Right, but between the 100 and 300, we have the discretion, right?
Correct.
Okay. I guess this is, again, where I feel like it's good to have discretion at the council level, because blanket ban on the egg and I being within 300 feet of a church just doesn't make sense to me. I think having the ability to take them on a case-by-case basis makes sense, so thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Hodges?
So I guess when I'm thinking of this, I know we keep saying we don't want to be anti-business of any sort, but then my mind goes to places like Leawood. When I drive through there, it's a lot of classiness. I'm not saying we want to be Leawood, but what I'm saying is you're not finding these vape shops and these type of alcohol places like this in that area or specific areas where you're driving through. You're like, yeah, everything seems to fit with the classiness that they're trying to uphold. So what are they doing? Because I don't see articles written about them saying they're anti-business. So what are they doing that we're not doing that we can say, hey, just not here. We're not anti that, but maybe go in this area where it fits better. So what can we do differently? Because there has to be something. So what can we do differently that directs them saying, yes, come here, but this is the more of the area you should go. This area is more, this is what we want this to look like, and the type of business we want to attract here. So how do we do that? Because obviously it's happening, and it's successful other cities. So what are we not doing?
That's directed at you, Chief. You're the
Okay.
one that's,
I
you're the
didn't know
one
if
that's
that was
been.
for me or not.
Yeah, I don't think you
I
really
don't know
I mean,
if you know
obviously,
that
that's,
answer. It
there's a
seems
lot there.
development.
It's a different state. I'm not familiar with their liquor laws. I think you have zoning regulations and such in Kansas that are different than ours as well. So I don't know what they're doing in Leawood. I kind of focus my attention here on Lee Summit. So I don't know. Pretty nice community here too, but I don't know. I don't have a good answer for your
And I
question.
feel like
Probably a
maybe
good
it
council
was
discussion there.
another staff member,
Could be.
Mr. Elam. I know you don't want to come up, but I feel like, I mean, I know we've kind of discussed this before, and I know you have a good answer one way or another, but I think it needs to be put out there, like something's different.
So Ryan Elam, Assistant City Manager, and the technical answer is it depends. Just not to be too joking or anything like that, but the regulations are different. Kansas has a different set of zoning regulations and bylaws and things like that. Leawood has their own set of rules and regulations that vary, and so we would have to do a very detailed analysis to be able to answer that question with any certainty or any amount of facts.
Right.
And part of it more, I think, would be determined about what is the desired outcome that we're looking for on that. What is it about some of these different things associated with there? And again, I can speak from my previous experience as a consultant, and I can tell you from experience that Leawood, at the time, they had just different regulations than a lot of other places had as well.
So, I mean, I guess I'm taking that as we could look into our regulations, I mean, with enough time and research to see if we could do something in that direction if we wanted to.
So it depends, again, a little bit about what our desired outcome is.
Right.
Overall.
Right, so I mean, wouldn't that be considered just being more strategic in our planning of the city? Saying we want to be strategic about what we allow and where we allow it?
Again, a lot of different things can occur through our overall zoning ordinances and things like that. But again, every regulation that we would need to look into would need a lot more detail. We'd have to get really specific on what it is that we're trying to accomplish, what we're trying to look into, and then be able to propose potential solutions for that. Definitely outside of the context and scope of what we're currently talking about related to the substitute bill here. But is it possible to look into those items? Yes, it is, given direction from the council. Can I tell you right now how long that's going to take, what that's going to look like? I can't quite do that right now, but it is something that we could look into if we had a really good consensus on what it is that we were trying to accomplish overall, so we could know what portions of our ordinances we think we may be able to tweak and look into.
Okay, so what I'm hearing, it's possible with enough research to present if council is in favor of that.
Depends on what possible
Depends, I need to
is.
add the word depends. Depends.
I'm not entirely
Yeah,
sure.
okay.
It's a little
Okay.
broad right
Sure,
now. If we
right now.
narrow it down, maybe.
Okay, yeah, okay, I appreciate it, thank you.
Stay around, please. I'll try to build on that last conversation, because that was a little bit more healthy than where we've been going all the night long, because we made a decision and we're saying we're trying to be proactive, but we're reacting to a decision that was made just literally less than 2 months ago or something. So it doesn't feel proactive, but that's fine. It's here in front of us, so let's talk about this. Why is this ordinance in front of us? Not the substitute. Why is this ordinance in front of us today?
I believe that's actually a question for Chief Forbes.
Yep.
You see the section that is highlighted on the copy in front of you. That was our revision to it. The language desiring to serve was not specific enough and didn't really comport with state law, so we wanted to clarify the language serve, dispense, or give away, so that was the only revision that we proposed.
Okay, and you brought it forward literally a few months or less after we made that decision.
Correct, yes. In our review of the Galaxy Liquor situation, we realized that the ordinance needed some language cleanup, and our attorneys recommended that we change it to be more specific.
Okay. Well, it's just that people are speaking for you tonight, and I just want to make sure that you're on the record on this. Like, your position is to err to the safety side. But questions about how far away and all that kind of stuff and what other people do, you're saying, well, we're not sure about that. However, you're saying that this ordinance of 100 feet, can you give me a minute? You don't know where I'm going with this. So give me a chance, please. This ordinance came forward 2 years ago, you said?
The revisions we made to the ordinance, we made a few revisions to the liquor ordinance over the years, but yeah, this ordinance.
100 feet come into play.
The 100 feet has, I'd have to go back and look at the history of the ordinance to see, but the state has always allowed us to restrict licenses up to 300 feet. So that's the maximum that the state law allows us to do.
When we brought this forward a couple of years ago, why is it 100 and 300?
I believe we did not change that 100 to 300 3 years ago. That was something that's existed in the ordinance for well before my time.
Okay, I'm so confused, because when Mayor Protem was saying that this hasn't come forward, something like this hasn't happened in 8 years, you were like, yeah, but this language has only been this way for 2 years.
Yeah, what I was saying is council used to approve every liquor ordinance, every liquor license, not ordinance. They used to approve every liquor license. So a few years ago, we made the revision to make it an administrative process that allows, certainly people can appeal a denial of a liquor license to the council, but it's an administrative process, so they don't all come before
Mr. Elam, can you help me? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah, and it does get confusing a little bit, because we did change the process. Previously, you had the appeal that just came through, but previously, every liquor license that was approved by the city council.
And so you brought it forward and you said, hey, this is within 100 feet, we recommend you deny it.
Yes.
And then if it came in at 250 feet, you said, hey, it's in that range where it's kind of your call. And if it's above 300, they're like, hey, we recommend you approve it.
Yep, we would have a
So this
recommended
this
approval or deny.
200-foot range that's in between, you basically gave you the direction as to what chief would, what position he would take.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so right now, chief's position is between 100 and 300 feet, it's the city council's call.
That's correct.
Under 100, it's his call.
Under 100, it's not allowed.
Not allowed, it's his call to deny it. Above 300, it's his call to approve it.
Correct. Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, but is the 100 feet a state statute limit, or is that us? I don't want to confuse things. I'm sorry.
To my knowledge, it allows us to restrict up to 300.
Yeah.
All right.
So the way our ordinance is written and works today is if it was 50 feet away from a church is for us,
Right,
we
but
wouldn't be allowed
where did the 300 come from if the state statute is 100? Mr. Dunning?
I believe the state statute allows us to regulate 300 and less. That allows us as a local jurisdiction.
Allows us to regulate, but what's the 100 then with the state statute?
I don't know that the 100 is within the state statute. I think that is just a local regulation that we say within 100 to 300, it's a council decision. Less than 100, I think that's a limitation. Look to David.
That's a Lee Summit thing. Less than 100, Mr. Bushek, is a Lee Summit thing? Where we just automatically say, deny it, chief?
Is your question as to what the state statute says or our ordinance, our code?
State statute.
The answer is I don't know. This is not quite my wheelhouse, and I have not looked into the state statute with this to this level of precision, so I don't know what the answer is.
I feel like, here's what I feel like. Let me just ask council this. Like, there are people that up here feel passionately about it, and this is not a clear-cut thing. I don't think some of us appreciate that we made a decision less than 2 months ago, chief, and then now you're putting this in front of us, and now it's creating this type of situation. But I understand it's not, that you're just doing your job. It's just that if we're going to do this, then we need to do it right. Mr. Dunning, we need to do this correctly. So if we're going to have a big discussion about this, then, and we're going to compare to Leawood or compare to other places, I'm all for that. I just want to do it right. I want to see what everybody else is doing. I will tell you that in my profession, it's very, very difficult because I've seen people spend a lot of money like securing a location and then only to find out that the city has steeper regulations than what that commercial user is using. So let's just say it was alcohol. They're used to operating in other municipalities and they're thinking it's totally fine. Then all of a sudden they buy or lease a space and they didn't do their homework. They should have. It's their own fault, I know. But then all of a sudden it's a steeper restriction in this city than everybody else around it. I don't necessarily want to be more strict than what everybody else is around it, but I'm okay if we're kind of on the level playing field, if that makes sense. I don't know what the other cities are like. I think we should table it and Mr. Dunning, pull best practices. What's everybody around us do? I know who I feel is pretty restrictive around us, and let me tell you, we don't want to be like a couple of cities around us that are real restrictive on some of these things, because I've seen some wacky stuff in a couple other cities that makes no sense, and they've never taken the time to do what Chief is doing, which is bringing forward something that clarifies it and says, hey, is this really reasonable, or is this what you really want, or whatever. So if we're going to do this and have this debate, let's do it right. Let's see what everybody else is doing and then make our decision as a group then. Does that make sense?
It does.
A table, a chart, comparing. I know where people stand up here tonight, but I'd rather take a step back, table it, move forward with, I mean, we've already got this ordinance in place. We're changing 4 words and it's created all this. Obviously, there's something a lot deeper here that everybody wants to get into. So let's get into it. So My thing to the council is, I'd rather table it, put Mr. Dunning, Mr. Elam to work, Mr. Chief Forbes too, however you guys do that as far as best practices. And I know, personally, I don't feel like I made a bad decision. I did what I thought was right, just like a few other council members up here. But let's put it in front of all of council and discuss this. Because maybe with a broader perspective, we'll make a different decision. Maybe nobody wants to do that. Maybe everybody just wants to vote. Anybody? Council? Councilmember Rader, I'm going to go to you next.
Again, apologies, Mayor. I jumped the gun, but I did want to say this, that the opportunity came up for me to bring this up. It came from me. It didn't come from anyone else. So when they put it back on the agenda because they changed the word dispense or give away, it gave me the opportunity to bring it back up because of my regard with trying to get it to be 300 feet and not 100 to 300. That's all that it was, and that's all that I just really wanted to say to you.
It's totally fine what you did. It really is. It absolutely is what we're supposed to do. You did your job too. So I'm not upset with you. I just think it's 4 words, and we're having this discussion a couple of months afterwards. So let's, Councilmember Hodges.
Thank you. I was just going to say that I think what you were explaining about tabling it and coming up with at least some more meat to this conversation so we all have more clarity on, no matter what side you're on, I think would be the most wise decision. Thank you.
I need a motion to table this and to direct staff to provide best practices. Mr. Dunning, can you help me?
Yeah, I'd say, we can have further discussion. The CEDC would be appropriate for this discussion to continue to look at this. I pulled up state statute, Mayor, and it's just references the sale of liquor, but this is talking about different, right? Serve, dispense, or give away. So things don't line up well with what I'm seeing in state statute. So we can do some more homework on this, Mayor.
Okay.
To your point.
I do respect the fact that it's easier it just seems weird. We did this so that Chief could just make a decision and take less work off of us. And then here we are today, and now we're taking away our decision-making even more. And we're just, we're the one part where we do have jurisdiction, the 200 feet, we're saying we don't want to have the ability to, some of us are saying we don't want to have the ability to make that discretionary call. We just want it clear cut, which, Chief, I can understand that makes it a little bit easier for you, because then you don't have to bring it in here and be put on the spot in a weird wonky way like this. But I think if we can just think this through, do best practices, we can make a decision and then move on. But right now, it's really tough to say, oh, we made some of us, it's really hard for us to say we made a mistake 2 months ago. So, can I get a motion?
Mayor?
Yes.
I motion to table bill number 25-132. Do I need to do to a date certain or? Okay.
Gotta go back to
Table.
Perfect. Second.
Thank you. We have a motion to table this and take this back to CDC by Councilmember Hodges, seconded by Councilmember Shields. Discussion. I just want you to know for CEDC, because then it goes back and then you're having discussions and just, bringing it forward, like looking it over, getting this cleaned up, like Mayor Protem said earlier, considering, do we really want to give up our jurisdictional, that 200 feet? I would just like to see us, I'd like to see the best practices. I'd like to see also, it's hard because I feel like it is subjective, 300, 100, 500. Does this one say walking distance or as a bird flies? Does it say that, Chief?
Yeah, it's property line to property line, I believe.
Property line, property line?
Yes. We had
Gotcha.
measurements on the Galaxy. If you recall the Galaxy measurements, we showed the distance and proximity.
Yeah. I just find it a little, I mean, like, it's just weird that we have the different rules, because when you look at the marijuana, it's via sidewalks or whatever, walking distance, like, and you have to
Legal
walk on
walking
sidewalks.
distance.
You know. Let's do that. Let's send it back to CEDC. Mayor Pro Tem Lopez?
Mayor, the only thing I was going to add, everything, I agree with the direction we're going, but I think Councilmember Hodges suggested that, for example, we talked about early, Chief, a little bit more definition on the process. Like if it's going to involve a faith-based institution, then that needs to be better defined, and how we properly notice them so they are engaged in the process. So I think all that needs to be part of the process and discussion in CEDC. So.
Yeah, and to be clear, the only change we recommended to CEDC was the highlighted language there. We
Right.
didn't recommend 100 to 300. We're more than happy to look into it and see best practices, but the dispenser giveaway really has nothing to do with the 100 to 300 feet. That was a
But
legal
Chief,
recommendation.
the 100 to 300 came from somewhere at some point in time. Like,
Yes.
it came from somewhere.
It was proposed by Councilmember Rader.
No, the original 100 to 300, where we get the jurisdiction, was created.
the state does not-
That's arbitrary.
Yeah, the state does not allow 100 feet. You cannot sell by state law liquor within 100 feet.
Okay.
They allow cities to regulate up to 300 feet. So then it becomes and somewhere along the line, and I wasn't around at the time the 100 to 300 came into play, but there's many, many ordinances that are well before my time that I don't know how that came about.
So when it goes back to CDC could say, why don't we just meet it in the middle and say everything under 200 is prohibited and everything over, it's just as arbitrary as 300.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
And then when I heard, I'm sorry, you just said that there's an exception? Like, if there's an exception, let's just say we said it was 300 feet. Someone could still appeal to the council and we could still override that? Is that how it works, Mr. Bushek? Just like a variance, somebody wants to come in and ask for a variance and they make an appeal, less than 300 feet, if we set the 300-foot minimum?
So I'm not sure, to be honest, I'm not sure I'm following all the discussion. Today, today, this is what how the ordinance reads, and the proposal is only to add these few words to expand it to serve dispenser giveaway, because that was a gap in the code, and that was the only issue that advanced to you, and now we have the separate issue of
Okay.
100, 200, 300.
All right, let me go back to Mr. Elam. Mr. Elam, let's just say it's 300 feet. And someone comes in because they're 257 feet away, can they appeal to council if it were 300 feet as a minimum, even though Chief denied them?
So that's going to depend on how we ultimately change the language in the ordinance. We could change the language of the ordinance to say it's automatically denied. I mean, that's essentially what's going on right now.
There's no way for them to have a variance.
I
mean, what if a developer comes in here and they want to build a flex building and they want to put category 4 on the bottom of the building? That's a variance.
Yes, yeah. So, again, with the way that the language is currently written, it's not contemplated that would be a thing. Now, the changes that we make to this ordinance language is really dependent upon what the council would like to do. I believe that the substitute bill, as presented, would not allow an appeal process. That's the substitute bill as it's presented. The language of the bill today, as presented with the dispenser giveaway, still allows for that council appeal. Again, we're kind of talking apples and oranges a little bit because we're talking about different versions of the same
All right,
bill.
then we need to send it back to committee. I don't know. I got all kinds of people that want to talk now. We need to send it back to committee and we need to work all this out. That's what needs to happen. But I have a lot of people that want to talk, so I'm going to get to them next. Mayor Pro Tem Lopez, are you done? Councilmember Pryor.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, so not to add to the confusion or anything, but alcohol is kind of, not, I mean, it is what it is. This, we have this, but my big thing is vapes being offered next to schools and churches, because I feel like that is the issue that we're facing a lot of times in schools and everywhere right now. So this doesn't address any of that though, right? So could we add that discussion to the CEDC discussion? Because that's what I want to talk about.
Yeah, so just for point of clarification, vaping, tobacco, marijuana, those are all regulated by separate ordinances and separate state statutes. This ordinance is purely for the alcohol, the liquor licensing aspects of it. So again, those are very distinct items. And we would have to bring some additional information on vaping and tobacco and those interactions with the state statute and what our limitations there are.
That's what I'm not comfortable being offered next to schools and churches. But yeah, because I hadn't thought about the restaurant thing, but I would like to discuss vape if that's okay with everyone else. We'll just be at a CEDC meeting for several hours, but.
Okay, thank you. Are you done, Councilmember? You good?
Yes, as long as we can discuss vape, I'm done, yes.
We can talk to Mayor Pro Tem and have him send it to CEDC. What's that? Oh. Okay, Councilmember Rader.
Thank you, Mayor. Just really quick, from what I understood in the research, as a charter city, we had the autonomy to be able to make the judgment of a 100 to 300, because I thought that the state statute simply stated that it was what it was, and that other cities that were not charter cities had no autonomy to make any more decision. It just was within the 300 feet, is the way I understood it. I could be a little off on that, but as a charter city, we had the ability to do that. And my goal in this, in bringing forward this substitute bill, was just to make it a hard and fast 300 feet. There'd be no more of this in between 100 and 300, because, I mean, I wanted it to be more than that. But the state statutes, when I talked to Mr. Head, he said, that's how it has to be. You only have that within 300 feet, that's it, until you go change in state statute. So that was kind of, I just wanted to clarify that. I hope it clarified a little bit, just what my intent was to just make it a hard, fast 300 feet. That's all I have. Thanks, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Shields.
Thank you, Mayor. So I went ahead and pulled up the state statute and sent it around to everybody so we can all look at it and understand the framework, hopefully ahead of some of these discussions. My understanding, and I'm looking forward to discussing all this, under 100 feet under state statute, a city, you have to get approval from the city council if it's under 100 feet. Over 300 feet, city council has no jurisdiction, and within 300 feet, they have decision-making authority. So we have chosen to make ours more restrictive than state statute minimum by saying under 100 feet, we just don't allow it, even though the state statute would allow you to have them with the approval of the city council. And we've said, over 300 feet, we don't have any authority, but between 100 and 300, we're going to make it all at our discretion, and that's within the state statute authority. So that's kind of the parameters of what we're working within, and I've sent that around so everybody can look it over. I think it's great to send it to CEDC, and the one thing that I actually did like coming out of this discussion is I think it might be nice to put a notice requirement that if a liquor license is within that 300 feet of a church or school, that they get notice that it's been applied for. And I would support that kind of a compromise so that they would at least be able to have a voice in the discussion. Maybe that's something CEDC can talk about. So thank you.
I think that's a really good point and a good compromise. I don't know if you heard that. Okay.
I'll bring it up to them.
Okay, will you? Okay, thank you. All right, thank you, Councilmember Shields. Councilmember Carlisle.
Thank you, Mayor. I just, real quick, I understand that we want to table what Councilmember Rader brought forward, but can we just pass what they have brought forward as staff so we can clear up this language, and then we can talk about her, Councilmember Rader's issue in CEDC? I mean, this is the second time they've had to bring this back just to clear up 4 words, so, like, I would hate for it to just sit there and wait for us to have this conversation at CEDC. Just my opinion, thank you.
Well, the motion on the floor right now is to table it.
To table the amendment, right?
Table the original ordinance.
Well, it says motion to amend right there.
Councilmember Rader, motion to amend it. Mr. Bushek, you better be paying attention to this part, because I'm going to need you. Councilmember Rader, motion to amend it. It got seconded. Then Councilmember Hodges, motion to table.
The amendment.
I don't know that she.
She'll take it away.
Okay.
I'll take it, and we can just approve it and then discuss.
Okay. Councilmember Shields has withdrawn her second. Councilmember Hodges has withdrawn her motion to table. Now we're back to Councilmember Rader's amendment.
So fail it and let's go
So call the vote.
on the amendment.
Withdraw the amendment.
Correct,
And then we
as-
can send it to committee for discussion.
Or you want to withdraw the amendment or fail it?
I think we should send this to CEDC and not vote tonight, just to show good faith that we're going to have a good faith discussion at CEDC. So I would need Councilmember Hodges to remove her second, Councilmember Rader to remove her amendment.
Remove that.
I remove.
Push it on your computer.
Here?
Okay, Councilmember Hodges has removed her second. And Councilmember Avery, do you wish to take back your
Oh, I want to
motion?
withdraw it here.
Okay. Okay, we are back to the original ordinance that was brought forward with some changes from Chief Forbes. And we're talking about tabling this and sending it back to CDC for a little bit more of a,
We're tabling still?
yes,
All right. I'm going to go to the bathroom. You guys do whatever.
all right. We're going to table this. If I can get a motion now to table it. No. Motion to table.
Mayor, I motion to table Bill number 25-132.
I have a motion by Councilmember Shields to table. Councilmember Hodges seconds. Discussion on sending this to CEDC. That's what I was trying to do, is when I said, here's the things I'd really like to see discussed at CEDC. So I think I've got that on the record. I think we're good, and we're going to have a good discussion. You guys got some homework to do for CEDC. So, all right. I'm going to call for the vote. Please cast your vote to table. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It is tabled unanimously. Probably would have been unanimous even if Councilmember Shields was here, or Carlisle was here. Do you guys want a break, or you want to finish it?
Finish.
All right. Proposed ordinances, first reading. Councilmember Rader, please read bill number 25-142.
Hold on a minute, I lost my hunk of paper. I move to first reading bill number 25-142, an ordinance accepting final plat entitled Oldham Parkway Shopping Center, Lot 3A through 3E, a subdivision to the city of Lee Summit, Missouri.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading, bill number 25-142 by Councilmember Rader, seconded by Councilmember Shields. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. Passes 6-0. Thank you. Councilmember Pryor, would you please read bill number 25-143?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to advance to a second reading, Bill number 25-143, an ordinance vacating a portion of a utility easement located at 310 Southwest Ward Road in the city of Lee Summit, Missouri.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading, bill number 25-143 by Councilmember Pryor, seconded by Councilmember Hodges. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. It's unanimous. Goes to second reading. Thank you. Councilmember Hodges, would you please read Bill number 25-144?
I advance to second reading Bill number 25-144, an ordinance approving lease agreements for Project 1 Oldham Village LCRA Redevelopment Plan within the redevelopment area for the 291 South Regional LCRA Redevelopment Plan.
Thank you. I have a motion to move to second reading Bill number 25-144 by Councilmember Hodges, seconded by Councilmember Shields. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. Do you want to vote on this one?
Nope, I'm out.
All right. All votes are in. Please record the vote. Passes 6-0. Thank you. And I'm going to have Councilmember read this next bill, and then I'm going to have Michael Park come forward and speak right after you read it, Councilmember Shields. Would you please read Bill number 25-145?
Thank you, Mayor. I move for second reading of Bill number 25-145, an ordinance determining and declaring a necessity for acquiring public use certain public permanent easements and temporary construction easements for the proposed Douglas Complete Street Improvements Project, authorizing the city manager and his designees to negotiate for the purposes of acquiring the necessary interest in land, and authorizing the city manager and his designees to institute condemnation proceedings if such interest in land cannot be acquired by purchase through good faith negotiations. Got it.
Thank you. I have a motion to move to second reading by Councilmember Shields, seconded by Councilmember Hodges. Mr. Park.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. Michael Park, Director of Public Works. Just wanted to briefly mention what this project is about. This is the Douglas Street improvements from 2nd Street north to Chipman Road. It's a public improvement project, road improvements, sidewalks, storm sewers, water line replacements, and all the other appurtenances that come with a roadway project to one of our critical gateways into downtown. And with that, we are needing to acquire easements for this public improvement, and through the use of condemnation may be necessary. As you'll see in your attachment, Exhibit A lists those properties still yet to be acquired. As of tonight, and between the date in which the packet was created, a number of those properties have been acquired, so you'll see some of those that are no longer necessary. We intend to update Exhibit A prior to second reading if first reading is so far as approved.
Makes sense. Thank you, sir. Questions for Mr. Park? Discussion on this agenda item? All right, thank you. I'm going to call for the vote. Please cast your vote. Missing one. All votes are in. Please record the vote. Passes 6-1. Thank you. Councilmember Carlisle, please read Bill number 25-146.
Thank you, Mayor. I move Bill number 25-146, an ordinance authorizing the City of Lee Summit, Missouri to issue taxable industrial development revenue bonds in a principal amount not to exceed $13,400,000 in connection with the Victory Hyundai Project, and authorizing certain documents and actions in connection with therewith be second read.
Thank you. I have a motion to move to second reading, Bill number 25-146 by Councilmember Carlisle, seconded by Councilmember Hodges. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. Passes unanimously, 7-0. Thank you. Councilmember, or Mayor Pro Tem Lopez, would you please read Bill number 25-147?
Yes, thanks, Mayor. I move to advance the second reading Bill number 25-147, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute change order number 2, scope expansion for the not to exceed amount of $48,450 to the AVAP statement of work that is subject to the professional services agreement between AVAP USA LLC and the city of Lee Summit, Missouri.
Thank you. I have a motion to move to second reading Bill number 25-147 by Mayor Pro Tem Lopez, seconded by Councilmember Hodges. Council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. Passes unanimously. Thank you. And Councilmember Rader, would you please read Bill number 25-148?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to advance the second reading Bill number 25-148, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute change order number 004 for a not-to-exceed amount of $908,625 to increase services provided by AVAAP for the implementation of additional workday modules under the agreements between AVAAP USA LLC and the City of Lee Summit, Missouri.
Thank you. We have a motion to move to second reading, Bill number 25-148 by Councilmember Rader, seconded by Councilmember Hodges. Discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. All votes are in. Please record the vote. Passes 7-0. Thank you all. Committee reports. I know who's going to be busy. CEDC is going to be busy. Councilmember Shields.
Thank you, Mayor. My condolences to CEDC. You guys definitely are going to be packed. Finance and Budget is going to meet this month, August 18th, which is not our normal date, so just wanted to flag that to everybody. And then the Lease Summit Economic Development, LCDC is going to have their annual meeting this Friday, August 8th. So hopefully everybody can make it to that as well. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Any other committee reports? We haven't been meeting as a council. This is our first one in a few weeks, so that takes us to council comments. Councilmember Pryor.
Thank you, Mayor. I think this is maybe for Mr. Park, but do you know on Lakeview Boulevard where the work was done, where the people were saying that they didn't put grass seed out, do you know if that company was going to go back and put grass seed out? Because now I've gotten several complaints that there's just a ton of weeds growing up.
Are you referring to the capital project out by Lakeview Boulevard?
No, the ones where it was like the company, I think they did maybe a gas meter thing where they had to put gas meters by the road versus on the house. I don't know what company it was. Spire, I think.
Utility work through a right-of-way permit. So it may be, but at their discretion, waiting for the actual grass season. We're kind of out of season right now. So they could be doing work and coming back, or, you know, they've worked with other property owners to establish grass. And each utility company has a little different way of doing that restoration.
I believe they said they put grass seed out. I've gotten several pictures from homeowners along Lakeview Boulevard that said that they have not put grass seed out. It's just all weeds coming up. And I know Councilmember Carlisle has had somebody reach out to her regarding the same issue. So I didn't know if they were actually going to go back and put grass seed out.
Just send us details to our Public Works Department, either through C-Click-Fix, LS Connect, or through our Public Works general email, and then we can assign right-of-way staff to go do an investigation.
Okay.
And that way we can also understand who the permit holder is, which utility, and be specific in our response.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Rader.
Thank you, Mayor. Please do not kill me. I had a constituent that I've been talking to, and some of you may know him, Jeremy Angadi, and he owns the Bleeding Heart Tattoo establishment. The reason he reached out to me is he's a lifelong resident here, and he is very concerned about the number of tattoo establishments that he believes is coming to Lee Summit. He's a member of the Kansas City Guild of Tattooers. I didn't know they had that. But here's what he told me. We currently have, and I talked with Mr. Elam and Brian Head about this a few weeks back, but we currently, I think we have 6. We have one that's building out right now. Mr. Bouchak knew about that one. And then we have another one coming for sure. And then he said he thinks there's 5 more coming. So that would make, I think, a total of, 11 to 15 tattoo parlors here and establishments here in Lee Summit. So I'm not asking for discussion. All I'm saying is this something that we feel like that we would want to maybe propose to the CEDC? The reason is that I know other cities around our surrounding cities have limitations on the amount of those types of establishments along with piercing establishments. So I think Blue Springs put in some type of an restriction with theirs. Independence has one. So I'm bringing it just before the council.
Did you say Blue Springs?
Yes.
Okay.
They just changed their ordinances.
Yeah. Well, you're making me regret my decision earlier to send this to CEDC. because of, that there's certain things that certain cities do when they start restricting the number of businesses that can do something. And I'm going to tell you, boy, that's a lot different than what we talked about with, 300 feet and such. So, I mean,
Mayor, I'm just trying to put this forward on behalf of the constituent. So nothing behind it, no intent behind it on my end at all, and I understand what you're saying. So it was just, I just told him that I would bring it forward. He was concerned about it, and of course, it's the council's decision on what, if we want to move forward on it. So, thank you.
Let's, maybe get a feel from other council members. If you get a couple people that feel passionate about it, they need to come forward. But man, it's a whole different can of worms, I think, than like state statutes on. There's state statutes on such. If there are state statutes on tattoos, parlors, there is.
I think they're regulated, but I don't know with respect to how many or things of that nature.
There are.
Regulated in the sense of
Ms. Albers,
public
can you
health.
come forward?
Oh.
She seems to know this. I think she knows a lot. We need to start picking on her.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. We are aware of restrictions that exist beyond state requirements that may limit the number of tattoo or piercing shops based on the population of the community. I believe in Independence it's 1 per 15,000 residents. In Blue Springs it was 1 per 6,000 residents. And that was actually recently changed to be relaxed from a previously existing standard because as cosmetic procedures start to blur the lines between body adjustment businesses and cosmetics, some of those limitations can be gray. So at the direction of council, we'd be happy to explore this as part of CEDC, but those restrictions had in place by Independence and Blue Springs are not necessarily dictated by the state. Those are policy decisions made by the local jurisdiction.
Yeah. It just needs to be, if we're going to start having these kind of discussions, it needs to be for the right reasons. So I'd like to think on it with all of you and before we start diving into this. Yeah. Councilmember, maybe you can do a little bit more homework on this and put it in front of us in a different way.
Absolutely. And if you think it would be better if he just came in and spoke, as a public, and let him do his speech, and then we can decide if we want to do something with it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Give me some guidance on that.
Okay. Let me think on this and talk to Mr. Dunning. He has to do a little bit of work sometimes. So get him involved and we'll go from there. All right, any other councilman comments? Staff roundtable?
Couple items, Mayor. Last Friday, we opened Chipman Road between basically Bent Tree Bluff out to View High, so that east-west connector is now open and much improved. Big project that we delivered there. A reminder to the community that right now we're accepting feedback on contracted residential solid waste services. I know there's been one district informational meeting held, District 4, I believe. We have a couple more this week, and then another, the last district would be District 3 on August 13th. So all that information is on the website. We also are accepting public comment through the website. So there's many ways that folks can become engaged in that initiative. And then just a reminder that charter review applications are still open. Those will be open through August 15th at 5 p.m. as well. And so lots of opportunities for public engagement out there, and all of those are accessible through the city's website. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I thought this was going to be a short night, but it wasn't. Everybody, look at those lights out there. You can see them. You need to open those blinds up for us. We can see the, might have to run out there and look real quick. It feels like Christmas. Man, getting me excited in August for Christmas. Yeah, you're right. Okay, this meeting is adjourned at 8:40.